students, welcome to today's video. Today, before I start teaching you something, I am going to give you clues about what I am going to teach you today. Yes, I know you are excited. So the first clue is, have you seen the Bahubali movie? I believe if you are an Indian, it's impossible that you have not seen it. Of course, it was released in all the languages. If you have seen the Bahubali movie, you would have seen that there are certain war scenes, and you would have seen that people play big drums in the war. Have you ever thought it that why do they play drums in the war? No? Then today you will get the answer for that. Second thing, have you seen a most commonly seen ad that is about offensive smell? They will be showing where the house is filled with offensive or bad smell or cooking smell of eggs or meat or something, and suddenly they spray something. Yes, of course, I was telling the ad about Ambipure, and you can take also the ad of other bathroom fresheners, that is O'Donnell or so many other companies. What is that? Give a clue or make you think about it. Still, if you have not got the answer to it, then today's video is going to answer these questions. So today I am going to teach you in footnote of aphorism 26 and aphorism 46, two important aphorisms. Why I am taking both these aphorisms together? Because these both aphorisms share the same topic or come under the same heading. Now, last class we dealt with a weaker affection is permanently removed by a stronger affection and modus operandi about homeopathy. Yes, so but you have to realize that law of similars happens always around us so many times, yet we are not paying any attention to it. And yes, Hahnemann has paid attention to it, and he found out that other than homeopathy, in nature there are many such law of similars happening around us. So today's class about nature's way of cure. So let's go to the class. So today I am talking about aphorism 26 footnote. Now in this footnote, Hahnemann tells about nature's way of cure. Now nature's way of cure happens in three different ways. Okay, one is physical aspect, one is moral aspect, also called as moral maladies. This is very important. Pay attention to this because moral maladies comes as a short note for you in your exam. And third is disease aspect. Okay. So these are the three aspects in which we are going to study nature's way of cure. Now first is physical aspect. So if you see in the early dawn, the Jupiter gets hidden, or we are not able to see Jupiter because of the strong rays of sun. So that is how in nature a stronger force overcomes the weaker force. It does not mean that the Jupiter vanishes off. It is just that you can't see it because your eyes see something stronger, the rays of sun. So in early dawn, Jupiter gets hidden by rays of sun. That is the first example. The second example is snuff. See, this example Hahnemann has given. If you would have asked me, I would have told something about Ambipure or something. That is same thing. That is, whenever there is a bad smell, to overcome the bad smell, do you think the bad smell will go if you see or eat a piece of cake or you taste something better? No. You require some other strong smell to remove the bad smell. So in those days, snuff was used. Now snuff is a powder which acts as a sternutatory, that is, which creates sneezing and opens your nasal passage. At the same time the smell of the snuff is so strong that it can overpower the smell of a bad smell. Okay, so snuff and fetid odor. Third point is, this is what I started telling you about, drums during war. So my question was, do you know why do they have big drums and why do they hit drums during the war? If not, this is the answer. During a war, what happens is that, of course, the soldiers from both the sides are losing their lives. So they are getting killed, they are in pain, and there will be so much piteous cries. Let us cry out of pity, and they will be wailing, moaning. Now what happens is, when these sounds are so large, that time the other soldiers who are fighting might become nervous and anxious and may not be able to perform well, because of which they may lose a war. So the big noise of the drums is just to overcome the piteous cries of the soldiers. So drums during war is to overcome piteous cries of soldiers, which makes the other soldiers nervous. Got the point? Then comes the second part. That is, we finished the physical, now we will go to moral melodies. Now, moral melodies, the first main example is that if somebody is mourning or is in grief or is in sorrowful state of mind because of loss of some person, or they lost somebody or breakup or something like that, then in that case their grief becomes less if they see somebody else's more sad state. Okay, so mourning and sorrow, the first example is mourning and sorrow will be erased. Erased means removed. Okay, erased from mind by greater sorrow of another. The second example is, now if you are overjoyed, or the great joy which has injurious consequences, for example, when some people are very excited and very happy, they hear something, then they may come up with suddenly palpitations or headache or lightheadedness or some other health complaints. So injurious consequences of great joy is combated by taking coffee. Coffee in itself can produce a joyous state of mind, because of which if you take coffee in such conditions, it becomes a stronger force and removes the injurious consequences of a greater joy. Okay. Now you have to remember that a very excellent homeopathic remedy which removes the symptoms produced by the injurious consequences of greater joy and surprises is coffee. Yeah, you want, you can refer that. Okay. So that is the second point. Then the third point is about Germans. Now Germans were made to suffer, and they were literally made as slaves by the Western conquerors. Now these Western conquerors made them suffer like anything, until one fine day the Germans could take it no longer, and they decided that they are going to fight or stand upright against it. And once they did that, they were able to overcome the side effects or the bad consequences of being a slave to Western conquerors. So these are the three important examples for moral melodies given by Hahnemann. If this question comes as short note, how will you write it? First you write it, what is moral melody? That is, it is nature's way of curing. and you write about aphorism 26. A weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished till manifestation. So you write the aphorism, you explain the aphorism, you tell it is nature's way of cure, then you give the examples which was given by moral melodies in aphorism 26 footnote, and that's how you finish the short note. Okay. Then we come to the most important aspect, that is the disease aspect. Now the disease aspect has been explained in aphorism 46. That's why today's class 2 aphorisms have been covered. So now let's see the disease aspect. Okay. So disease aspect, as I told, is told in aphorism 46. Now what is disease aspect? That is, we saw in nature how in physical aspect nature cure happens. We saw how in moral maladies cure happen. In nature also, if two similar diseases come across, the stronger disease will overpower the weaker disease and extinguish the weaker disease. So what happens in nature when two similar diseases come across in a body? The stronger will remove the weaker. Now I'll give you example. For example, if you see patient who had chronic ophthalmia and was almost going to be blind, when he got smallpox, the smallpox cured the blindness and the chronic ophthalmia. Okay. So the first example is smallpox and chronic ophthalmia. Now I can't write the whole thing on the board, so I'll be just writing a gist, but I'm explaining it, so please pay attention to what I'm explaining it to you. So chronic ophthalmia got cured in a person who got smallpox. The second example is smallpox and came when it attacked a person who had deafness and was dyspneic. That is breathlessness. Okay. So patient who had deafness and dyspnea when got attacked by smallpox, because smallpox produces this, it cured it. Third example, smallpox and swelling of testicle. Same thing, patient who had swelling of testicle got attacked with smallpox. As smallpox causes swelling of testicle, it cured it. Fourth example, smallpox and dysentery. Fifth example, smallpox removed cowpox. So patient who had cowpox, when got smallpox, he got free of cowpox. Okay. Sixth example, cowpox cured tumefaction. Tumefaction means swelling. Okay. Swelling of arm. The same theory, patient who had swelling of arm got cured by cowpox, because cowpox produces in its symptoms swelling of arms. Okay. The seventh, cowpox cured intermittent fever. Eighth, measles protected from whooping cough. When you read it in Organon of Medicine, you will see that in these particular examples, it is been given that this person observed that this and so happened and so was cured. Now, you don't need to write the name of the person who observed it, but don't forget to write these examples. In this 9 not needed, there are few more examples, but I took the 9 important ones which you can understand better. In this 9 you can write whatever you wish to write in your exam paper depending on your marks and your memory. Okay. The 9th example, so far the last example, measles cured herpetic eruptions. When I will be coming to aphorism 46 according to the order, that time you will have to refer this particular aphorism for the examples. If needed, sometimes I may be explaining it again there. If not, this is the 46th aphorism. This is from where you have to study that what happens in nature when two similar diseases meet. Remember this question. It comes in exam. That is, what happens in nature when two similar diseases meet. So what happens? The weaker disease which the stronger disease can produce is cured by the stronger disease, or if the stronger disease is there in the body, it will not allow the weaker disease to affect you. Okay. So this is about the similar diseases, what happens if it comes across in nature. So that's all for today. We finished aphorism 26 footnote and we finished aphorism 46. Stay tuned for more and always stay healthy. Bye.